Now, like I was saying, after surging by over 19% year on year on a yearly basis, we are seeing a growth of more than 19% when it comes to air traffic. Now we are seeing domestic air traffic come down. 2.4% month on month is what we're looking at in percentage terms, and 122 lakh passengers, slightly more than that, month on month. And it is, of course, a seasonally weak July. International traffic also is pretty much flat in the month of July. The average daily domestic air traffic has fallen 6% and has come in at 3.94 lakhs. So with passenger traffic dipping, airfares also have come down. Clearly, the monsoon is playing its part. It's being a spoil sport for the travel industry. Is it going to be a seasonal effect? Before we decode the flight path for aviation as a sector, let's bring in these reports that my colleagues have put together, putting the current scenario in the skies in perspective for us.
Well, yes, what we did was we checked the fares for the top 20 routes today morning. Now we did it for a 7-day forward, that is for August 8th, and for 2-month forward, that is September 30th. And what we have seen is that for the 7-day forward, fares have fallen for 17 of the top 20 routes, while for the 3 routes, it has marginally increased. For the 2-month forward rate, however, has fallen for all the top 20 routes that we have checked. Now for the 7-day forward, the prices have fallen most for the Patna-Delhi, Delhi-Kolkata, Kolkata-Delhi, Delhi-Patna, and Mumbai-Kolkata routes, and the rates have fallen by nearly 14 to 32 odd percent. And when it comes to 2-month forward, where rates have fallen across the basket for all the top 20 routes, the decline is in the range of around 10 to 12 odd percent. Now for Mumbai Hyderabad, the route fares have come down by 12%. For Chennai Delhi, the fares have come down by around 11 odd percent, and for Hyderabad Mumbai, the fares have come down by around 10 odd percent. And this reason behind this decline is the fact that Q2 is generally seasonally a weak quarter, and hence in the month of July we are seeing this decline. And also there was a lower air traffic, so airlines might be reducing the airfares to boost the air traffic in the upcoming months.
An important development coming in from the aviation sector, the government is quite hopeful that the upcoming winter schedule of the airlines is going to be quite busy. If we compare in terms of number, the average per day flying in the upcoming winter schedule is likely to cross 5 lakh mark, whereas when we have seen that in the last winter schedule, it was somewhere around 4 lakhs. So the average flyer numbers is going to cross the 5 lakh mark. Government is quite confident. But the point is that last year we have seen that the major airports in the country, especially at Delhi airport, we have seen that there was a problem of congestion. People have to stand in long queues and they have to spend a lot of time going through the security check-in area. So the government or the related authorities, they are saying that they have made the preparatory arrangements. They have done all the checkpoints so as that this sort of congestion problem is not repeated. For example, when it comes to Delhi airport, the X-ray scanner machine, the numbers has been increased, the security check-in point has been increased, and it has been taken up to 12 number. Similarly, there are going to be big numbers of display board that will be displaying that what are going to be the prohibited items that is not allowed when you'll be flying in air, for the related information for the flyers. So all those sort of information will be displayed through the display board. This sort of arrangement has been made. In addition to this, the encroachment, the commercial encroachment which was done at the airport by the private airport operator, that has also been removed by the authorities like BCAS, Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. So these sort of necessary steps have been taken by the authorities, and the government or the aviation ministry is confident that the last year bad experience of congestion at these airports will not be repeated this time. And they are also hopeful that the average per day flying numbers is likely to cross 5 lakh mark, which is a good sign for not just for the Indian aviation sector, but for the airlines as in a whole. And this time, the winter schedule, which usually starts by the end of October or start of November and goes up till March next year, is going to be very busy.
Well, that's the expectation. But what about the here and now? Let's decode what's happening right now. And for that, industry veteran of the travel industry, also he tracks the consumer tech space very closely. Himank Tripathy is with us, along with Devesh Agarwal, who's the chief analyst at Bangalore Aviation. Great to have you gentlemen with us. Himank Tripathy, explain to us this monsoon travel trend that you're currently observing and have in the past. How much of a seasonal dip do you normally see this time of the year? Not least because of the added turbulence that you get over Indian skies with all the rain-bearing clouds hovering over us. But What's the variance that you see this time around?
See, basis my estimate and understanding, I don't see any dip. In all fairness and understanding, some hiccups here and there are absolutely fine. But if you ask me, the industry has not witnessed any major dip as such. The sentiments are very positive. In fact, what I have noticed is that due to the entire rainy season, where people were having difficulty to travel to the hills area via road, are now actually planning to take flights to go to their favorite destinations, be it India or abroad. That's my take. Yeah.
Now, as far as Himank is concerned, Devesh, he's not seeing any kind of dip. The demand is quite high. How do you see it? Because these airfares certainly are taking a dip, aren't they?
Thank you so much for having me. Airfares are it's an absolute simple function of supply and demand. If you recall, in the month of June, when Delhi, had the schools holidays just start, you saw 5-digit airfares pretty much. From Delhi the fare was 20,000, but going back to Delhi was like 5,000. So it's totally dependent on supply and demand. And now, essentially, school holidays are beginning to get over in many parts of the country. So people have completed their holidays. Monsoons have started. So, weathers have cooled off. So people are willing to return back to the various cities. Automatically, there is compression of demand, and it has always been there. Cyclically, it has always been there that you will have now this period, basically around August, September will be slow. And then again, you will start seeing the festival demand start cropping up, in October and November. And then in December and January, you will see, the typical year-end foreign visitors, or rather Indians living overseas coming back to India, Indians, taking their annual holidays, who are working especially for multinationals and all, who have their leave accumulated, etc. And then again, you will start seeing a slowdown essentially in, from February down towards March and on towards April. And then again, once the holidays start in May, June, the demand goes back up. I mean, it's a typical cyclical demand.
Yes.
In fact, most airlines schedule the maintenance of the aircraft during this period now.
Right. Yes, in the monsoon time. Devesh Agarwal, from a traveler perspective, keeping in mind, both of you are saying that not too much has changed. Cyclically, we are following the same trends as we have, but certainly things have changed pre and post-COVID. You actively track the consumer tech universe as well, and the usage of it perhaps is giving many more options to travelers. They're exercising them in different kind of ways. The mode of transport, when they like to take that journey, safety that airlines afford, that is also changing things, and what customers are looking for in the airlines that they choose, services, the comfort factor. If airfares are equal more or less, do tell me, Himank, then what are the prime factors that determine traveler choices today compared to what you used to see in pre-COVID times?
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you the number one priority that has changed what we have seen earlier before the pandemic. I think being a price sensitive market, affordability was the key question, not anymore. People are more concerned about the safety and the kind of experiment or experience they can have when they travel with their family. And pandemic has also taught one more thing. All the Indian household are now able to have savings in a very different way. They are able to save smartly so that they can travel smartly. Another factor, the post-pandemic, we have seen a boom in terms of content that is available very easily coming from social media influencers, expert in the industry, that basically gives you a very sort of a short, term or a quick course for you to understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So combining all of that, I think nowadays customers are not worried about price. And that's what I have seen in the market post-pandemic. People are more worried about having great experience with the family. People are more focused towards hygiene and safety, and those factors are important. And another thing is technology has taken over in that way. From contactless entry, using QR codes when they travel, I think technology is enabling that way. And nowadays, I believe, personally, I would say I'm very used to with that format. If I don't see that, then I'm going to get worried as a traveler that, hey, things are not working out. So safety, space, and using a technology to enhance my experience, I think pre and post pandemic, these are the first few things that I noticed. They're not worried about money anymore.
Do you agree with that, Devesh, that money is not really the highest factor on that list of priorities for travelers? Because that would perhaps work at the advantage for many of the airlines. Is that actually showing in the numbers?
No, with due respect to Himank, I will disagree with him. If you see in June, everybody was screaming about high airfares
Yes.
because by an overwhelming majority, I would venture to say at least 80%, the primary driver of people buying tickets is price. If the price goes beyond a certain point, they will choose not to travel. They'll howl. But price is a huge. I don't want to take names of a certain airline, but there was one airline that was put under enhanced surveillance by the DGCA. Still, their flights were going absolutely full. I think they almost topped the market in terms of passenger load factors. How is their planes going full if everybody in the world had, concerns about them?
Yes.
I'm very sorry. People may want to spend. I agree partially with Himank in terms of today the average Indian traveler is wanting to have a good time, but still they are very price conscious. They are going, of course, with the expansion of Indian aviation. You are seeing flights to more remote destinations or destinations that were not initially serviced before.
Correct.
So you're beginning to see people being able to go for quick, short weekend trips, 3 days, 4 days, things like that.
Yeah.
I've got the Hornbill Festival coming up in the Northeast. Okay, I'll go quickly for 4 days and come back. So that kind of targeted, what I would call micro holidays are also becoming very common and popular. And bottom line, people were cooped up for 2 years,
Of course.
and money, basically they earned their money, but they really did not have
An
too
outlet.
many spending opportunities. So now you're seeing revenge
No, but
spending like anybody's
yes, but
business.
revenge spending is taking place in travel, and that's the important phenomenon to latch on to. How much have the airlines been able to attract those travelers, and have they had the pricing power to be able to make the most while the sun shines brightly on travel in India? What do you think, Himank?
You're in the media. Tell me, when was the last time you saw a press release saying summer sale, monsoon sale, 5th anniversary sale, 20th anniversary sale, which we used to see in 2019, 2018, literally every week?
True.
Some sale bulletin would keep coming out. We're having special fares. Where have you last seen it?
Yes, I haven't in the longest time, which is why this entire discussion.
Yes, absolutely. The situation right now.
Yes. So then, Himank, the competitive landscape among airlines, how is that shaping up? Of course, right now, Devesh doesn't want to maintain this one airline, which has been under enhanced surveillance in the past, passenger load factor being among the highest. But now you have two big leading players. You have an Air India, you have an Indigo, followed by the rest. How is the competitive landscape really showing how this entire drive towards travel is something that Indians have latched onto?
In a way, for me, having new players and offering something interesting and more options for people to fly, be it economy or a business or a premium class, I think it's a great sign. And we have seen numbers are going up. Be it any airline, people are looking very positive to highlight that particular factor. So for a industry per se, and also for the customer per se, they have more options to try. But yes, you have more players coming in. The way they try to grab the customer has also changed. Especially if you noticed, post-pandemic, the way social media has been leveraged to talk about how interesting that experience can be when they package beautifully in terms of being price sensitive and also trying to enhance your experience. I believe that has gone up. So the traditional way of reaching out to the customers via, as it was mentioned earlier, why our traditional set of press releases and others have come down, but social media has actually been up. And if you notice, even in your feeds, I believe you will be experiencing that the kind of content they play has also gone up. So a smart way to integrate all of that using the power of social media, plus more players are up, so that I feel there is a very interesting option that is there for the customers to travel and have great time.
Devesh, do you see marketing and branding playing an important role in creating differentiators among the airlines today? Do you see that much more on social media and travelers making their decisions on how to travel based on the kind of messages that come through for them through these airlines? Because for the longest time, we've been in a space where we can't really tell one airline from the other. But that is changing now, isn't it?
Partly, yes, I agree. Because if you look at it, there are two low cost legacy players who are one has Go First has gone into bankruptcy, and the other one, as I said, is having its own share of issues. So in the LCC kind of space, you essentially have Indigo, and now you have an upstart called Vistara who is trying to change the game. And they're doing quite a good job at it. I mean, I think just today they have inducted their 20th aircraft. In fact, it's the first 737 MAX 8 200-seater. So, I think it's the second airline in the world. So it's after Ryanair. So, I mean, they are doing something different. On this side, Vistara is doing a lot in terms of having its previously, if you recall, Jet Airways was the full service carrier of choice. Now Vistara has become the full service carrier of choice. Air India is trying to catch up, but I think they still have got a while to go. They're going to come there eventually, but definitely a lot of challenges ahead for them. By and large, I'll be honest with you, as I said, price is the main
Yes.
biggest driver. The second biggest driver is schedule.
Right.
Can I go at a time? Now, I'll give you a classic case. I had a bereavement in my family. I had to rush to Mumbai. I was not sure, but I needed to come back the same day. So guess what? I looked up and see which is the last flight going out of Mumbai to Bangalore.
Yes.
And I choose that. The airline doesn't matter to me.
Right.
So many times this has become a more how do I say? And if you see, especially amongst the working professionals who need to attend a social function, I've got my friend's wedding, etc. I need to come back though for work the next day.
Yes.
So I don't mind taking a flight, leaving at 12 at night, reaching at 2 o'clock. Okay, I'll reach our office an hour or two late. My
Yes.
boss will understand. So
Yes.
It's
about convenience and scheduling. Yeah.
Yeah, the scheduling has started playing an increasing role. And if you look at it, most of the airlines, especially Indigo, I mean, I think I remember seeing an ad, or they had a hoarding somewhere in Bombay, like literally they're having a flight to Delhi essentially every half an hour or 1 hour. It's almost like a shuttle bus service. Go to the airport, get onto this flight, get onto the next one. Which is, what an LCC is essentially aimed towards.
Right.
They are democratizing flying.
Yes.
Flying is no longer the abode of the rich and luxurious.
Yes, absolutely. But that we left before COVID set in as well. At this time, we're trying to find out if there is an experiential difference, even for people who are choosing to fly these airlines. Where is the difference in the experience in terms of what each airline offers to passengers?
Well, definitely a full service carrier like Vistara and Air India, they are focusing on food. They are focusing also on frequent flyer benefits because they're aiming at that corporate crowd. They're aiming at the person who they want loyalty. They want, what we call, we have two categories. One is the corporate traveler and one is what we call VFR, visiting friends and relatives, or in simple language, the leisure traveler. A leisure traveler really doesn't care about which airline they take, but the corporate traveler wants to maximize the mileage benefits they get. So you're having a lot of co-branding of credit cards, things like that. You're even beginning to see slowly Indigo starting to offer some incentives that if you use my app directly and bypass the the travel agents, I will give you some additional benefits, because they'll end up getting a bigger share of revenue. They don't have to, give a commission to the agent.
Right.
So you're beginning to see these kinds of subtle changes that are going on in the industry. Airlines are beginning to play to what could be considered their core strengths.
Yes.
But the focus is still on delivering people are very concerned about reaching on time, because today
that is core.
time has become a huge thing. So schedule,
Yes.
how would I say,
Yes.
reliability,
Yes.
The reliability of the schedule. If you tell me I'm going to
Yes,
leave at 12,
on-time performance is very crucial. There's no taking away from that. Himank, tell us about the cost of aviation turbine fuel. Sequential growth in ATF prices, that is reflecting, obviously, it has to, on the profitability of these airlines. How do you rate the ability of airlines right now to bring in fare hikes as they do, as often as they do, in line with the rising input costs? How much of a bearing is that going to have now going ahead into winter as well?
I think the season for travel, peak season, where the demand is going to hit insane level, is going to happen very soon. The festive, the season is around the corner. And this is where they need to get as many customers, as many passengers on board. Now, I think what they are trying to do is highlighting the experiential factor. Another key thing that they are focusing on, where the fuel cost is there. I mean, it's very pertinent. You cannot be ignored if you're in that industry. Now, the way to handle is to delight the customer. What I have experienced when I reached out to various players, and my understanding is that they are completely focusing on customer experience, especially in terms of customer care. Now, apart from offering food and other benefits and trying to have more capabilities in-house, the person who used to do A plus B activity is now encouraged to have upskill and add A plus B plus C capabilities, so that the cost can be managed internally that way. Another part, they focus a lot on customer care nowadays. In the world of social media, especially after pandemic, not only to understand and address your grievances, they also try to reach out in terms of experiences. And in fact, I know a couple of airlines and services providers who actually reach out to customers asking what went right, where all we can improve, and they go back and say that majority of them were choosing A and B option,
yes.
And we have incorporated that. Now, we just wanted to highlight, as a customer, you're very important. Please, fly again with us. I think this is how I feel they're trying to manage cost effectively. Of course, there are various other reasons.
Yes.
But I've seen building internal capabilities in terms of upskilling and try to have better negotiations with their partners.
Yes.
Such as Make My Trip and all. They partner with airlines and get a better deal. Focusing a lot on customer care, using AI. People don't realize the power of AI.
Yes.
AI is going to help a lot in terms of managing those costs. It's already been implemented. We just need to wait for this season to see the full glory of all this.
Well, it is only the very beginning as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, and we're seeing across sectors, and definitely in the hospitality sector and the aviation space, we're going to see it in full flow. And perhaps, like you say, very soon, winter is just around the corner, peak travel season. It'll be interesting to see how the industry braces up to take on the storm of travelers that we're expecting, a huge rush. And the kind of sectors that are going to see the largest rush is something that we've got our eyes and ears peeled on. But for the moment, we'll have to leave it there. Both our gentlemen joining us on the show, telling us that, look, this is cyclical. A little dip here and there during the monsoon season is something we've seen in the past, pre-pandemic as well. And this is nothing new. As far as the aviation sector is concerned, more and more people taking to the skies. More and more of them want to be able to tap into the small breaks as well, get away, explore, return, and come away refreshed. That's the whole idea, and that is possibly going to make the travel industry grow leaps and bounds in the future. Himank, Tripathy, Devesh Agarwal, many thanks for joining us with your perspectives on India Development Debate. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition. Of course, we'll see you again same time tomorrow. Until then, do take care. Good night.